understanding the issues being presented in this local government election campaign. This evening's debate focuses on local government policy issues and is in the form of a team debate. Our two teams tonight are for the JLP, Charles Sinclair. Venetia Phillips. And Richard Crary. And for the PNP, Dennis Gordon. Natalie Nita Garvey. And Alan Bernard. Members of the panel of questioners are Janet Silvera from the Gleaner and Giovanni Dennis from the RGR News Center. I'm your moderator, Janella Precious. The guidelines for tonight's debates have been previously agreed and are posted at JamaicaDebatesCommission.com. The guidelines include that questions cannot be longer than 30 seconds. Each team is allowed 2 minutes to answer each question, and rebuttals are limited to 90 seconds. The moderator will have the latitude to raise follow-up questions for clarification only. Questioners are only allowed 2 follow-up questions to their primary question during the entire debate. Follow-up questions will be permitted at the discretion of the moderator. Where a follow-up question is asked, the team to which it is directed shall have 1 minute to answer. The other team is allowed 45 seconds to respond to the answer to a follow-up question. And where a follow-up question is asked, it shall not be interrupted, or rather, it shall not interrupt the sequence of questions posed to the respective debaters. The questions posed in tonight's debate are created solely by the panel and are not influenced by the Jamaica Debates Commission in any way. And in order to involve the wider public, we will be taking questions from social media, and these will be managed and presented by Nika Lewis from CVM TV. You can send all your questions to us via direct message on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Jamaica Debates. All social media questions will be presented to both teams for their answers. You can also view the debates being streamed live on the Jamaica Debates Commission Facebook page. For there to be a modernization opponents. Good evening. I want to say a special good evening as well to those electors who have not yet decided what they were doing on the 26th of February. I am hoping that after tonight's debate, you will decide to vote for the PNP. I also want to make sure that you understand that the PNP has always believed in local government. We are the party that believes that local government is what drives national development. We believe that the citizen is the best and most important unit that forms our national landscape. And as such, this grassroots movement, born out of the bowels of our working class people, we have always put the citizens first, and we have always made sure that our policies and programs are driven by the citizens' needs and their demands. In the 1990s, we developed the local government reforms. A PNP government did. And that reform process is still the basis and foundation of which our local government still operates. During 2012 to 2016, we laid the 3 strategic laws, and those laws were to be able to allow for there to be a modernization of local government. But 7 years, 3 months, and 4 postponements later, we have still not seen the regulations for those laws to be enacted. We also want you to tell you tonight that change is coming, and that we are going to be leading that change. And that change is to have a better development for communities, change for better access and accountability, so that we can have better local governance for our people.
Thank you so much.
Please, 2-minute opening statement.
Good night, Jamaica.
wish to thank you for joining us at this debate. And you will see the presentations of Team Jamaica Labour Party. And you will determine from this debate that we are the better choice for Jamaica. The Jamaica Labour Party is a proven performer. The Jamaica Labour Party has achieved much at the central and local government levels. We have improved the quality of life of Jamaicans. And many of these achievements of this party, this administration, was done without the imposition of new taxes from 2017, a tremendous achievement in itself. From the perspective of local government, we can look on achievements, and I will list just a few. In respect to roads, we have rehabilitated, fixed the roads that lead to your home, over 2,500 roads. And can you imagine when the Spark program, that $40 billion program announced by the Honorable Prime Minister, comes into fruition, your community roads will be dealt with effectively and to your suit and satisfaction. We have improved the fire service by the acquisition of over 40 new fire trucks. We have improved the garbage collection service with the acquisition of over 100 trucks. We have employed, through the Youth Summer Employment Program, over 50,000. And I submit to you that we are doing our best. More to be achieved. Vote for us come February 26th. Vote Jamaica Labour Party. Put your X beside the bed and let us partner to build you and your community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our first question tonight comes from Janet Silvera, and it will be directed to Team PNP.
Good evening. Should the direct election of mayors be extended beyond the Portmore municipality as other corporations? And does a recent Blue Dot poll revealing that 49% of respondents are unaware of their mayor not raise questions about the relevance and effectiveness about those who hold that position?
Thank you. It is clear that Team PNP and the government then in 2001, when we embarked on the consultations with the people of Portmore, and it was through their determination, along with the government at the day, that there should have been a directly elected mayor. We believe in the directly elected mayor, and if we had not lost in 2007, that process would have continued. The truth is, at the end of the day, it is something that we are going to be continuing because we understand the importance of giving the citizen his voice and being able to directly elect their own mayor to serve their own mission.
In addition, we want to make it unequivocally clear that citizens' participation is important to local governance. And that statistics that you would have mentioned suggests that people, the citizens of this country, do not engage with the process. This administration, the JLP administration, has single-handedly and intentionally gutted citizens' participation from the local governance process. A prime example is the way in which the national parish development committees have been gutted. The CDCs have been neutered. SDC itself has been emasculated with political interference. And that has been one of the key reasons why you have not been seeing the levels of citizens' engagement. All these mechanisms that have been in place in the Local Government Reform Act have been neutered by this JLP administration. A PNP administration is ready to make those changes, is ready for citizens' engagement. We are the party that has been at the forefront of citizens' engagement in the local government process. This has always been the case.
Thank you. JLP, your rebuttal.
The Jamaica Labour Party is definitely not averse to directly elected mayor, but Jamaica, over 20 years of pilot, and the PNP is still talking about when they get into office, they will go ahead with directly elected mayor. Yes, we on this side believe in engagement, we believe in performance, and we believe in communication. The model in Portmore has not worked. As we said, we're not averse, but we, of course, intend to engage with the people, follow up with the action that is affirmative and representative of the views of the people. Unlike our friends on the PNP, it is not what we believe, but what you believe is in your best interest. That is what this Jamaica Labour Party government is committed to.
I'm amazed to hear my friends on that side speaking to the fact that if they won in 2007, they would have done certain things in Portmore. But they forgot that they won in 2012. So they had ample time to correct whatever they see as wrong with Portmore. The PNP is just talk, no action. We, on the other hand, we have demonstrated that we are better managers of the economy, both at the central and the local government level. And when you vote for us, we will continue to work on your behalf, building for you and your communities.
Giovanni, thank you so much. Giovanni has the second question, and it will go to Team JLP.
Good evening. Neither party has presented a local government manifesto to the electorate. In 2016, the former mayor of Mapen, the now deceased Milton Brown, said in this very room that within 3 months after if the JLP won, that a manifesto would be provided. Yet here we are without a clear, written and published roadmap by which the public can judge you, the both of you. What do you say to Jamaicans who find this as insulting?
The Jamaica Labour Party has in fact completed its manifesto. The publication of that manifesto will be made available soon. The reality is a manifesto is not a static document, it's a working document. And so you referenced 2016. We have to remain current and conversant with the issues of the people of Jamaica. And so the consultation has taken place and the manifesto has been completed and at the appropriate time will be made available to the people of Jamaica.
I would just like to speak on something that was sent by Team PNP. They mentioned the Social Development Commission. The Social Development Commission was underfunded by the PNP when they were in government. They were given from central government, from the Ministry of Local Government, a mere $10 million outside of their budgetary allocation. Since 2016 and Minister Mackenzie taking the reins of government, the Social Development Commission has been transformed. Last year, $148 million was provided to the Social Development Commission. The Social Development Commission led a local economic sustainable development program where over 13,000 Jamaicans were given training in business and provided with funds to whether assist them in the business they are in or to develop a new business. The PNP cannot speak to the SDC. They have done nothing for the SDC. But on the other hand, the Jamaica Labour Party has transformed the SDC, and the SDC is all over Jamaica in the various communities, developing the communities, building for you and your communities through local government and through the SDC.
Team PNP, your bottom.
Team JLP is pure fluff. Let's examine the fact. The funds you spoke about was created by a disciplined approach by the PNP administration of 2016. So I'm happy that you can talk about performance and money spent, but let's examine the fact. The last 7 years, what have you done? You have been in power 13 of the last 17 years. So what more do you expect or anticipate if you are not delivered? I will use a cricket jargon. If you are given a wicket to bat on, you need to score runs. You can't blame Team PNP for not scoring runs. So you pinch a single here, you pinch a single there. It is difficult to talk about $40 billion when you inherited that from Team PNP fiscal management. The space was created by us, and so you are now enjoying the benefit of that. I make no apology. What you know inherit is a quick team PNP work of art under the leadership of Dr. Peter Phillips. I have no apologies to say. You talk about performance, but let's chronicle the performance.
On the issue of the Social Development Commission, Jamaica Labour Party has a practice of making grand announcements, and
All right, so the question that Giovanni posed is, where is your manifesto? So we've heard from Team JLP. It will be published soon. Where is your manifesto?
Our manifesto is completed and will also be published soon. But there's more to a manifesto than just words and promises.
All right, thank you. All right, so we're going to take a question now from social media. And Nika, what do you have for us?
So our first social media question this evening: what are your party's plans in relation to the development of sustainable infrastructure in rural communities, to include focusing on lack of piped water and deplorable roads?
I will invite Team PNP.
Firstly, we are presenting tonight to the people of Jamaica a contract as to what we will get done. 2% of GDP to fund local government is what we're proposing. 2% of the current GDP will give you $20 billion, of which each municipal division will have $87.7 million to do more for its citizen. We have been starved of cash. We have been starved of policy. And we're saying that as a progressive organization, we put people at the center of what we do. And so with more resources, we better be able to address your roads. Our roads are in the worst condition in our history. Our garbage is not being collected, and nothing has been done for mitigation. So a new PNP administration will get the requisite funding from central government to undertake the cost of providing the critical services.
It is our plan as well to ensure that there's going to be accountability at every level. And so we are insisting that there will be a divisional development fund for every single parish council division across Jamaica. A divisional development fund which will be similar to the constituency development fund, where there will have to be a development plan for each division. And that development plan will have to come with the scrutiny and consultation required to include participation from the citizens. It is important that we stop treating local government like the poor cousin. It's important that Team JLP understands that what we consider to be the vital part of our development must be at the local level. The street lights that I hear recently being spoken of, that they have been mismanaging for so long, paying for street lights that we don't have, is an indictment and a failure of this Jamaica Labour Party government.
All right, thank you so much. Team JLP, your rebuttal.
The Jamaica Labour Party does not just talk. We are about action. And when you look on what we have done in respect to the creation of the development orders right across Jamaica, we have set in place how development should take place in the particular spaces that they take place. But we move beyond that, and we look on what has been put onto the ground in areas in Hanover, deep rural Hanover, Chambers Pen, where you are seeing a complete development plan for that area, which includes developing the water systems there. $250 odd million is being put in to develop the water system in Chambers Pen. When you look on a rural part of St. James in Flower Hill, under rural water, we have invested over $100 million to get sustainable water supply into Flower Hill, a community that has hundreds of residents, a community that has been without water for 30 years. The Jamaica Labour Party has used the resources wisely. We are building communities We are going to continue to build communities, build Jamaica in a sustainable way.
If I may,
Matter of fact, the person who posed the question, I may want to add that not only in 2022 did the PNP resign from the building committee, but I believe it was in 2013 or 14, while the People's National Party's administration was in office, in the KCMC, the PNP also resigned from itself. The building committee resigned, yes, Jamaica, under the People's National Party. When you charged us with the responsibility to take decisions on your behalf, may I dare say that the building committee is not just about developers. The remit far extends beyond that. But if my friend would have sat in those committee meetings, he would have learned much. The reality is, the checks and balances have been put in place. They speak so much about the 3 strategic laws. Those laws has assisted us to also restructure our operations so that we can effectively serve you with transparency and accountability. And yes, the issue to which my colleague alluded, the mayor of Kingston was correct. It was our internal mechanisms that detected flaws in our system.
Thank you so much. Social media also has burning questions. Nika?
Thanks, Janella. That's so true because our question is via direct messaging from Kingston. Andrew wants to know what will be done to establish a more transparent process of awarding contracts or subcontracting government-funded jobs versus the current process by which friends and alleged dons are being awarded.
Team JLP, you have the first shot at this one.
with regards to the process of awarding contracts, each corporation has a procurement committee. No councillor chairs that procurement committee. So there is a clear and transparent process in the awarding of contracts. We have to submit a quarterly report to the Integrity Commission surrounding our contract award process. So it is a clear process. We do not, based on the process, it does not allow for this level of corruption that is being perceived by the public.
And when you look on what it is that persons have to do, so when you look in the Sunday papers, generally you will find that advertisements are put out where persons make submissions, and they have to, the applicant, persons who are making the submissions, they themselves have to satisfy certain requirements, especially when the contracts are at particular dollar values. So we have also in the internal systems, the internal auditor. So that's a check and balance that exists in relation to the award of contracts. We have the Auditor General, who can step into any municipal corporation and in fact has stepped into municipal corporations to ensure that the process that is put out in respect to the award of contracts, that it complies with the laws that exist and that it is fair and transparent. And now we have the Integrity Commission. They can do the same. And when we take note that the Integrity Commissions Act was passed by the Jamaica Labour Party, we stand firm that there will be no corruption in the award of contracts or the giving of contracts to dons.
Thank you so much, Team PNP.
Let me put that to the test. Since my colleague went there, I don't intend to make this debate about her, but you sat with us and you was critical of how things were managed. For example, the mayor's personal assistant is now the procurement manager. We have not had consecutive meetings either of the accounts committee or the property committee. We as PNP will say to the Jamaican people, our accountability, our inclusiveness will ensure that you're at the table. Let me go further. The statute declares that you should share your findings and your budget to the people for 5 years. We have not had one. The IG report has not been tabled in the commission. We are saying the most deceptive and the most dark administration is this one. And I make no apologies for it. Because how dare you to talk about transparency when you have no audit report, you have no internal audit report, you have not shared the damning report from the Auditor General, neither have you shared the report from the Integrity Commission, but you're investigating yourself. I find it a clear mockery.
One of the major issues with transparency in the local government process is the systematic exclusion of people, of the community from the process. The three laws you spoke about entrenched in the local government process a role for citizen participation. And when you have neutered the local public accounts committee, when you have single-handed...
And we would have to end it right there because it's now time for a break. No, it's not time for the break. Media, Nika.
Thanks, Janella. Is the AC still on down there? Now, this question is from Instagram. What strategies will be implemented to manage the budget to ensure fiscal responsibility within local government? And that
We're gonna team PNP. You get the first go.
Thank you. The three strategic law is clear as to how we manage proceeds. We will stick to the role of the funding that comes in cannot be willy-nilly apportioned. For example, we talk about lies and deception. Let's examine that. The current mayor of the Kingston and St. Anthony Municipal Corporation, his procurement officer was his personal assistant. Refute that. Secondly, and most importantly, you're talking about cronyism. A contract was awarded to bring carpet for the Ward Theatre, which requires a bond to be placed. To date, $42 million later, no bond has been presented. Let's talk about corruption. Let's talk about cronyism, because we live it at the KCMC.
I don't know. I'm flabbergasted that this team could really speak about corruption, and I'm floored. The truth is, no PNP minister of government has ever gone to prison. We can talk about it for selling farm work. None. Let's talk about it. If people are not going to be 100, and we're never going to be able to hold every single person accountable, but the systems have to be in place so that the people can judge us and so that we can hold people accountable. It is absolutely ludicrous to think that every person is going to be as honest as we'd like them to be. It is, however, clear to me, no? It is, however, very clear
Thank
to
you
me
so much.
that the
Team
youth car
JLP,
scandal,
your
the
response.
education, Ministry of Education,
Thank you so much, Team JLP, your response.
Jamaica, I know that for a moment you wondered whether or not we were in the same room and you enjoyed that moment of deflection. But the question was about the policies that would be implemented. Team JLP, yes, Team JLP, because that's your Team Jamaica. We intend to engage. Then we perform based on that engagement with you, and we communicate with you to ensure that what we're doing is in sync what you intend for us to do. My colleague on the other side keeps harping about the movement of a member of staff in a municipality. Lateral and even upward mobility in organizations is standard. In fact, we should encourage them. And so, I'd also like to apprise you, Jamaica, that there's something called an establishment committee. That's the committee that is responsible for ratifying employees. It is a bipartisan committee. So, that explains. This is the moment for amazing grace, where I say to my friends, I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. So no, it's not deception. Experience teaches wisdom. And one day I pray that wisdom will visit upon my friends and they will join us on this side as we continue the sensible management of the business of the people of Jamaica. We are the administration that is committed to building you and to building your communities. How do we do that? Through engagement, through performance, and through communication.
Was said earlier. My colleagues on that side, they obviously believe in plagiarism. They spoke to a divisional fund. Now, this is something the Jamaica Labour Party started in 2010 under the Bruce Golding administration. We got it for 2 years. It was $300,000 per year. Fast forward to 2016, Desmond McKenzie came up with the Municipal Social Assistance Program. We now get back to school, we get housing assistance, we have a secretary and burial
Thank you
assistance.
so much,
It's the
Mr.
same fund.
Crary. Thank you so much, Mr. Crary. We will now take a real break now. It's time for a short break.
Pose the premise of the question. Now, when you talk about delays, they have no moral authority to speak on that issue. They delayed local government elections on three occasions for political expediency. Labour Party, yes. We also caused a delay in the elections, not caused by us. But we had COVID, never seen before pandemic. And that contributed to a delay in the elections. And we move forward in relation to the delays when we had to look on lives and livelihoods. They speak about the general election, but let us give you the answer to that. Because in that pandemic, which affected people, affected the country in a serious way, $70 billion was lost. We had to have a mandate so that the government could make the hard decisions that was
Thank you
needed
so
to
much.
take us
And
through
Janet
the COVID
has
crisis.
a follow-up question to Team PNP.
Yes. Is the PNP trying to say to them that you have never had a councillor that has left office and you have kept that space unattended for months, maybe years? Is that what the PNP
No,
is
the
trying to
PNP
say?
is definitely not trying to say that, but we did come together in 2016 and agree in law that this would not continue. We agreed in law. And when you talk about deception, there it is. And tonight, it seems to me they come for me particularly. So if it's me you come for, let me tell you this. My service is to people and people. And the truth is, when you keep a division without representation for so many years, you deprive them of the basic necessities. You deprive them of key deliverables, key services to make their lives better. And that is what you have succeeded in doing. You have failed the people of those divisions. You have failed the people of Jamaica, and we will make the change.
Time come for an end to mockeries and phrases. Councillor Phillips, when you go back to August Town, ask that.
All right, so
Time come for an end to mockeries and
Team JLP has
phrases.
45 seconds to respond or to rebut.
Let me say this. As I said earlier, 2 councillors in St. James abandoned their post by not turning up for 3 consecutive council meetings. At 3 months, they missed the general council meeting. Now, what happens in a situation like that? And that is where we are confident that what we have in place with civil society, the parish development committees, the CDCs, representation of communities is not done only by a person who is elected. Representation of communities is much broader than that. And we have engaged PDCs in respect to those communities that
Thank you
fell in
so
that
much,
situation
sir.
in St. James.
Thank you so much. Giovanni has the next question to Team JLP.
In the 2016 local government debates, Desmond McKenzie in this very room said that, quote, discussions are well advanced to make Negril into a municipality. It's been close to 8 years and there has been no significant progress on this. When, if at all, is this going to happen?
With regards to other municipalities, The Prime Minister would be on record stating that the government is looking at a municipality in Negril. Negril straddles two parishes, Westmoreland and Hanover. And the consultations in Negril, persons there would like to see Negril have their own municipality. I'll give an example. A brand new market was to be constructed in Negril. The Westmoreland Municipal Corporation was to do the relocation of a few vendors in order to clear the land to accommodate the new market. To date, the money is in place and the market has not yet started. Had Negril had its own municipality, I am sure this would not have been the case. So yes, the government is looking at other municipalities. It is something we have under active consideration. We believe in participatory governance, and we will continue to consult with the people on these issues, and we will, at the appropriate time, these decisions will be taken.
And that confirms the position, contrary to what has been said by our opponents from across the floor, that this administration of the Jamaica Labour Party looks on dealing with situations that impact upon particular spaces, that we have consultation, and that discussion is taking place in relation to Negril, and as my friend has said, in relation to other areas in other parishes. But we have to have the discussion at the base so that the people are coming along with us. And it is not that we are doing from a top down to impose something on them that they would not appreciate or understand.
All right, so Giovanni has a follow-up question, but I will allow the PNP to rebut first.
You mean like the action in trying to push Portmore into becoming a parish for your own political expedience? Or the action that you are now taking because you're trying to say that you are going to do all of these things by promising Jamaica what you have not done in 8 years to do them tomorrow morning? The truth is, we pioneered the first directly elected mayor. We have shown you how it is done. We have committed ourselves, worked through the process.
For a year. Again, we were promised housing allowance, housing grants. None of that happens. People in my own division continue to press, Councillor, when are we going to get the housing grant? It is missing in action, as is the minister. My colleague would like you to believe that they are consulting with the public.
And
There's
we
no
have
such consultation.
a question now. We have a question now from social media. Nika?
Yes, so this question is from Facebook. In the case where 60% of the population abstains from voting, as seen in previous elections, would you interpret this as a collective rejection of both the PNP and the JLP? And how do you plan to remedy it?
Okay, we're going to ask PNP, Team PNP, to respond first.
This I wouldn't interpret as a rejection. What I've seen happening, especially at the local government process, is a systematic exclusion of citizens from the process. And again, that is where the politics starts, at the local level. And if it is the case that the institutions that were established within the local government process has been dismantled by the Jamaica Labour Party, from the National Association of Parish Development Committees to the Parish Development Committees themselves, SDC being neutered, community development committees being hijacked, you have no other result than people becoming disenchanted with the process. Time come for citizens' participation in local government. All municipalities under PNP administration come post February 26 will ensure that the people, the citizen, remains or returns to the center of this process. We have done it before. We will do it again. These principles are outlined in the Reform Act. It is time for us to get the people back to the center of the local government process. That, I think, will enhance engagement in the political process and bodes well for voter turnout ultimately.
all politics is local. And when the people don't feel that you are spending their money in the right way, because there is no system of transparency or accountability, or there is a great level of corruption and arrogance as being seen by this Jamaica Labour Party government, then it only encourages them to say it's for somebody else. We must get back to a place where people see government at work on their behalf.
Thank you so much, Team JLP. Your response?
Jamaica, apathy is real. We understand your frustration. No, we don't think it's a rejection. I think it's your message to us as political representatives on either side of the aisle that you are fed up with low performance. You are fed up sometimes with the lack of accountability. So we understand that apathy is real. It's real the world over. So how do we plan to remedy that? The Jamaica Labour Party is committed to ensuring that we regain and sustain your trust through performance, through engagement, through communication. Yes, Jamaica, we understand the frustration. We are building for you and your communities. We intend to ensure that as we do what we're supposed to do in service to you, we keep you informed, we keep you engaged.
I would like to address something that was said by my colleague over there about the recent poll. In that recent poll that you referred to, there was no PNP mayor in the top probably 6. So it shows that the councils led by the PNP are not really very recognized. The mayors are not very well known because they do very little. Yours truly proved to be the top mayor. So it shows that PNP mayors, as I said, are not known. They do very little. The municipalities they lead tend to be very corrupt. I want to also address something quickly about markets. We, the Jamaica Labour Party, it was mentioned there about markets. Port Marion has a brand new market. We have renovated more markets in the last 8 years than has ever been done under the PNP administration. The Yalas market was leased by the PNP.
I don't mean to interrupt you, sir, but guess what? It's time for a break.
Roads we walk. Our workers, people even in our towns, have to be wearing one shoes come out the yard and one shoes to come out of the gate. It's a terrible situation for all. The next PNP-led administration is going to ensure that, one, we remove the corruption that takes place in contracts and contract allocations so that there's more funding available to spend on those roads. We are committing ourselves to fix scheme roads and have them brought onto the roster of municipal roads, all scheme roads that were built before 1995. Because people in scheme roads pay their taxes and are law-abiding citizens as well. We are committed to finding new technology and new ways of building our roads because our
central government provided to local government, I believe, a sum of 19 million. St. James.
Of the users and consumers of the market who are women can have proper. We're little over 4 billion in NSWME. We're little over $4 billion.
And admit that this administration has consistently.
Time come for a change. Time come for a PNP administration that have done the research, understand the misery index, understand the nuance index, and will find the resources necessary to underwrite the cost of service delivery that the Jamaican people demand. I thank you.
Team JLP, please go ahead with your closing statement.
Jamaica, for 8 years, you have witnessed and yes, experienced consistency and efficiency in dealing with your local governance affairs by the Jamaica Labour Party's administration. Yes, Jamaica, the JLP has been building for you and for your communities. Whether you're PNP, JLP, no P at all, or you cross the floor like me, all of us can admit that this administration has consistently looked out for the vulnerable among us, increase and significant investment in our infirmaries and in our shelters. Yes, Jamaica, that precious commodity called water. Yes, more communities have access to water than at any other time in our history.
Water is life.
When it comes to parks and beaches, Jamaica, let's talk about that. Our performance is unrivaled. Let's talk a little bit more about beaches. The beach there was a beach in Cornwall that was given to the people, Cornwall Beach, that was given to the people by the former late Prime Minister Michael Manley. Yes, please go to our website at and beaches. Jamaica, let's talk about that. Our performance.
So there you have it, the local government debate 2024. Okay.